Jason Kidd got fired. As Sham Charania reported initially, ESPN senior NBA insider, Masai Ujiri takes over the Mavs, and Jason Kidd, head coach, Hall of Famer, of course, is fired as head coach of the Mavs. Now, you could sit there and say, wait, what? He was in the finals a few years ago. He was. He also tried to get the job that Masai Ujiri has now. Probably makes it a little bit awkward for the two that Jason Kidd wanted the job that Masai has, and Masai makes the decision to part ways. What did you guys make of this decision when it was made by the Mavericks?
Well, Jason Kidd just don't want to be in a situation where he's blindsided like he was with the Luka Doncic trade. And I can understand why he would want more power in the organization, especially when they blocked him interviewing with the New York Knicks job after they requested permission last offseason when they fired Tom Thibodeau. If you don't want to let me go, then give me more power within the franchise. I understand Jason Kidd's position perfectly. I also understand that he doesn't really have an appetite for a rebuild when he's not the one that's buying the groceries. So I think it never feels like it's good business to eat $40 million for a coach that won't be working for you. But I feel like this was the only path for the Dallas Mavericks forward. Mm-hmm. Because they're about to undergo a rebuild around Cooper Flagg. This is the prelude to them moving on from Kyrie Irving at some point this summer. I just think that it was important to clear the decks. I don't think this is an indictment on Jason Kidd's ability to coach. I just think that in terms of what Kidd wants, his professional goals, and direction of the organization when it comes to their program building, the two needed to part ways.
Yeah, Masai Ujiri is obviously coming in with a direct vision that he wants to enact, and it's kind of hard to do that when not only you have the coach as part of the previous regime, but as you mentioned, Evan, a guy who wanted your job and who thinks he's capable of your job. I can imagine that would certainly birth some workplace tension. And it wasn't just Jason Kidd that got let go. There were several people from basketball ops that they moved on from as well, So clearly they are wiping the slate clean. Masai Ujiri is coming in saying, I'm in control. I am going to make sure that the person who's the coach, this arm of our operation, is in lockstep with what we're trying to do. And I don't want there to be any combative nature moving forward.
So, you want to sign up for some reckless speculation now? You want to play the game?
Go for it.
Okay. So when Jason Kidd, remember Jason Kidd was a head coach of the Nets for a year, like right after being done playing. And then he just pieced out on the Nets to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. I would say that Jason Kidd, when he was the coach of the Bucks, for Giannis, was one of the worst coaches in the NBA. I couldn't believe how bad he was.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
Horrible. Not just bad, horrible. Since then, I would say he's one of the most improved coaches I've seen in the NBA. Like, significantly better. I think the stint around LeBron and the Lakers as an assistant with Frank Vogel served him really, really well. Like, really well. I think he's more than competent as a head coach. His Mavericks record is not as good as you would think. It's 500 record, 205 and 205.
That
and missed the playoffs 3 of the 5 years because all we think about is Nico Harrison, Luka finals. We don't think, well, they did miss the playoffs outside of that. He was horrific as a coach, and now he's a good coach. What you're going to hear, I think, reckless speculation as to could Giannis bring him with him wherever he goes. I don't know about their relationship. I would not want to play for him if I was Giannis based on my first stint, but it's interesting based on now the evolution of Jason Kidd. Are we going to hear him? Orlando's open. You know, I've been saying all along, I think Orlando could be a destination for Giannis if he gets traded. I think this is going to be really interesting now. I think Jason Kidd's name is going to be tied to Giannis, whether it's right or wrong, a lot in terms of speculation.
Okay, so give me the Orlando spot.
Orlando. But I would hire Billy Donovan if I'm them. I would go Billy Donovan and go all in. And I'd go all in because I think Billy Donovan's a better coach than Jason Kidd. That's not a knock on Jason Kidd. The reality of the Dallas Mavericks, though, and you may hear more about this after 7 a.m. Eastern, little tease there. Think about what's happened since they went to the finals. Since they went to the finals against the Celtics a few years ago, Mark Cuban sold the team. Nico Harrison traded Luka. They fired Nico Harrison. They fired now, obviously, Jason Kidd. And CeCe mentioned they're soon to trade, most likely, Kyrie Irving. They voluntarily annihilated their own team for no apparent reason.
And somehow luckily stumbled into Cooper Flagg in the midst of all of that.
Good. Okay, go there. Does it feel icky? Like, does it feel to you like almost they don't deserve that way out?
It feels like one of the luckiest breaks in sports we've seen in a long time. That despite your self-inflicted dysfunction, you landed this guy who's going to be a generational player that you can build around moving forward. And you got Masai Ujiri, one of the best in the business, to build your franchise moving forward. So in the midst of some icky, bad, dysfunctional moves, they've lucked into and made a smart move in the midst. It's very up and down. It's been a roller coaster for them.
So is that an attractive job now?
With Cooper Flagg and Masai Ujiri, absolutely.
So you'd go, like, if you're a hot free agent coach, you'd tell your agent, please call them.
To coach that kid who's young and malleable and also showed me a lot that he can absolutely be a superstar piece that we build around and an architect of a guy who's built a championship, yeah, pick up the phone, agent.
Who are you telling off?
I don't know.
Pick up the phone, 8. But you are in the Western Conference, right? We can't simultaneously say, oh, that's such an attractive job, and say Oklahoma City and San Antonio are, like, invincible at this point. So basically what you guys are saying...
But you wouldn't have said that 5 years ago. It literally was 3 good drafts for both franchises, and they ended up, with Oklahoma City, a trade, and they ended up getting to the point where we think they're going to be perennially 1 and 2 once we talk about the conference playoffs kicking off. That's how well run those franchises are, but that's how quickly your fortunes can change if you get top of the lottery picks, right? San Antonio, 3 top of the lottery picks: Steph Castle, Dylan Harper, and Victor Wembanyama. All of a sudden now you're talking about them having the most unstoppable force in all of basketball and one of the most dynamic rookies in the league.
And then just reading it from that point on. This was a superstar putting a team on his back, refusing to accept that they were going to lose this game.
I'm with that, but on the other side, you have a superstar in Donovan Mitchell, and it felt like Cleveland didn't look to him. I don't get that. What do you make of that seeming absence from Mitchell? And more than anything, it was that he wasn't the guy that had the ball in his hands a lot.
Well, I think he got his ankle rolled up on late. I don't know if that was a factor. He was still on the court, but it was bizarre to me, if he's on the floor, that you're not initiating with him. He had an efficient night the entire night, and he's coming off of a Game 7 in which he played incredibly well. So that's where you go. That's your star. I know you've got James Harden as well, but James Harden did not have a night where he was scoring the basketball. He was turning it over a little bit. He can still break you down. But when you see that game start to get away from you, to me, it's got to be in the hands of Donovan Mitchell and let him go decide how this game is going to end offensively for the Cavs. They just didn't get there. And then I'm going to tell you, I did see some three-point shooters across the board for the Cavs look tight on some of those looks that they had that really could have stopped that Knicks run and stalled some of that momentum. They didn't look comfortable. Seemed like they wanted the clock to run out once they had that big lead, and the aggressive mindset shifted to the Knicks. They smelled it, they went after it, they got it.
Yeah, it felt like Mike Breen might have had the bang halfway loaded, but Merrill's shot comes out, and New York rides the momentum to a victory. They grab Game 1. Tim, appreciate the time. I'll visit with you throughout the series. Thank you.
No doubt, Scott. You got it.
Some other significant news from the NBA. Jason Kidd out as Dallas Mavericks head coach. Mutual parting of the ways is how the departure is being framed. New president Masai Ujiri and new GM Mike Schmitz are now starting over. Ujiri saying, quote, "We believe this is the right moment for a new direction for our team." Now, I rarely buy any relationships end being described as a mutual decision, but to some extent here I do. After Kidd expressed a desire to be considered for the front office and was frozen out, he could see the Mavericks' future wasn't going to include him. When Ujiri was not definitive, I should say, keeping him when he was introduced a couple of weeks ago, that said it all. Finals run in 24 feels like a lifetime ago. Bringing in a new president and GM affords what feels like the need, frankly, to rebrand after everything that happened last year with Luka. They do get Cooper Flagg in the draft. They wait for Kyrie to get healthy. They got a pair of first-round picks this year in a draft that's loaded. So that's the good news. But it will be an uphill climb because the Western